This video is a guide to DPS on the Four Horseman encounter. Before the encounter begins, all DPS will be split into 4 teams, consisting of 1 tank and 5 DPS, unless you're running 13 healers, in which case one team will have 4 DPS. Now, it's imperative that when DPS are returning to the center or the safe zone here, that they return before the 5th mark goes off. Otherwise, they're going to take a burst of 5k damage and potentially die. Or if they survive, they're just going to be overburdening the healers. Now, the most important part of this rotation is Thane, because the team that is currently in attacking Thane cannot move until the team arriving takes their place to absorb the meteor, so that they can run to the center. So I would recommend that as soon as the 3rd mark goes off and this team starts to run in, that rogues use sprint and warriors use intercept to take the position. And as soon as they arrive, the DPS that are already in can move to the center. This doesn't apply so much on Moorgrain because stacking isn't essential. So the team that's currently in on Moorgrain should wait until there's about maybe 1 or 2 seconds left before the 4th mark goes off, and then they can run to the center. This gives them about a 3-second leeway in case they lag or in case they stuff up the timing. Gives them a 3-second leeway to get to the center before the 5th mark goes off. Now, this is going to continue until Thane dies, and then DPS will then not have to worry about a rotation so much once Thane is dead, because there's no DPS to soak the meteor. So once Thane is dead, don't worry too much about a rotation. Just keep an eye on your marks, wait for them to expire, and then once they expire, you can go in. If the healers have sufficient mana, stay in for 4 marks before retreating back to the center. But if healers are close to maybe return after the 3rd mark so that you're only receiving the 250 and the 1000 damage. You can always return to the center and then bandage yourself. And before I go on, during the rotation, all DPS when returning to the center should be bandaging themselves on for cooldown. It really helps the healers because healing is quite intense in this encounter. Now, once both Thane and Moorgrain are dead, the DPS are going to split. All Warlocks, Shadow Priests, and melee DPS will focus their damage onto Lady Blamote. They should be able to run straight through the center and up to Lady Blamote because ideally there won't be any void zones on the path through. However, on the other side, all hunters and mages, so you should have maybe 5 mages, 3 hunters, which gives you 8 DPS, will be stacking with the healers at this Y intersection, and will be dishing out as much DPS as they can onto Sir Zeliek. Once they receive 3 or 4 marks, they'll be returning and waiting for those marks to expire before they go back in again. It's most likely going to happen that Lady Blamote will die first, so all the melee and all the Warlocks and Shadow Priests will just have to wait until the Sir Zeliek has died. Melee and casters that can't cast more than 35 yards are just going to have to wait, because if they go in, they're going to get struck by the Holy Wrath and die, or chain it to others who will then die. So, consumables. Before the encounter, all DPS should have a greater fire protection potion and a greater shadow protection potion, and also all casters should have a flask of supreme power, and all melee DPS or hunters should have a flask of the Titans. You'll be refreshing your potions when you're running from the safe spot to Thane. Now, the reason is because Thane is going to be doing the most raid damage. So you want to be saving your consumables for Thane. So as you're running in, or just before you're about to run in, either pop a greater shadow protection potion or a greater fire. You can only pop one. Either way, you're probably going to consume the entire potion, so use whatever's cheaper. I think fire in most cases will be the cheaper potion, so probably use that. What can we do? So cooldowns. Now, the goal is to get Thane down as quickly as possible. He is the most intense on the healers, and also he'll be dishing out the most damage, so he needs to die as quickly as possible. So all DPS, not group 1, not team 1, but DPS from team 2, 3, and 4, when they run in, they're going to be blowing as many cooldowns as they can to get as much damage on Thane as possible. Now, why not group 1 or team 1? Because team 1 is with the tank that pulls from the beginning, and the tank's going to be in full mitigation gear, so they're not going to be building threat as quickly. So team 1 isn't going to use cooldowns the first time they fight Thane. They're going to save it, so once they do a full rotation and come back to Thane, they will then blow their cooldowns. And just thinking, I think that covers almost everything. Use your bandages, use your potions, get back before the 5th mark. Only hunters and mages over this side. Everyone else attacking over here. And that just about covers it.